Hello, guys. Welcome to Coffee Radio. Today's guest is Santiago Sabogal from FNC, stands for Federación Nacional de Cafeteros. FNC, with its member of 560,000 farmers, has worked for their well-being and improved their quality of life since its foundation in 1927. We are talking about what FNC do and how FNC work, and also how they see the current situation in the COVID-19 pandemic. You're gonna hear a lot of insight on Colombian coffee industry from a professional in the front line. Here is Santiago from FNC. Okay, Santiago, thank you very much for joining us. Just to start, can I have you introduce yourself?
Sure. No, I also want to thank you for this opportunity. My name is Santiago Sabogal. I'm from Colombia. I have been working for FNC for around 8 years in Colombia. Actually, I worked for 6 years in Colombia, and now I'm working in Japan for 2 years. In this moment, my current position is I am the person in charge of the green beans coffee sales for Asia and Oceania too.
Can you briefly explain about what FNC is and what you are doing in Colombia and in Japan?
Okay, yeah, sure. FNC, we can start like FNC. What is FNC? The letters, no? It's like in Spanish means Federación Nacional de Cafeteros, National Coffee Growers Federation of Colombia. So the FNC is the institution that represent all the coffee growers around Colombia. It is important to mention that the main goal of FNC is to guarantee the well-being of the coffee producers. Is the main goal.
Knowing how large FNC is really impressive. As far as I know, you have a 560,000 farmers around in Colombia, right? And we are wondering like how such a large cooperative could work, with like many small scale coffee farmers. And what do you think the key to success is?
Yes, you mentioned an important point, and is that in Colombia, coffee producers, most of them, I think that around 94 or 96% of the coffee producers in Colombia are small. Small means that the farms no more than 5 hectares. And this is why the FNC was created in that moment, because the coffee producers, they feel that they need to have an institution that represent all these small coffee producers around the world. It is important to mention that we also have local offices around the country. Not only in each state, we have offices in each municipality. No, municipality means the small towns inside the states, is inside the prefectures. No, so we have municipality offices, we have departmental or state offices, and we have the headquarter offices. And all these offices are like all integrated. So this is one of the way that we can reach all the area, no, and all the coffee farms around the country to have a positive impact in all the regions. Also, I think that the FNC always has have a very good relationship with the government in Colombia. Why? Is because the coffee for many years ago in Colombia, coffee was the engine of the country. So all the incomes Colombia was producer because the coffee business. And this is why, from the beginning, the FNC and the government have a very close relationship. This is very important because with the government, we also develop a lot of social programs, no, with the support of the local government, like mayors or governors in the coffee regions. Uh, Also, the government is also putting money. No, the government trusts 100% the FNC, so the government invests the money that they need for the social budget through the FNC to develop all the programs in the regions.
That's great. And to leverage the good relationship with government, you have a couple of unique systems, such as purchase of guarantee and national coffee fund. Can you please explain the details of these services?
About that services, yes, sure. As you mentioned, we have four kind of services that are like public services that we provide for all the producers. I think that one is the activities related to the research and development in terms of coffee. The second one is all the pension service that I mentioned from the beginning, all the technical assistance that we provide to all the coffee farmers. The third one is all the promotion and brand recognition of the Colombian coffee around the world. The fourth one, I think, there is all the strategy related to the sustainable commercialization value added of the coffee. In these pillars, as you mentioned, we have one of services that we call purchase warranty. The goal is to pay the highest possible price to the Colombian coffee producers. I think that is one of the most important mechanisms to defend the coffee growers' income. Why? Because the purchase warranty is that the coffee producers have the certain that the 100% of the coffee, you have an institution that is going to buy the coffee for sure, and is going to buy the coffee to the highest possible price according to the market condition. In that regards, I think that one of the key points for purchase warranty is, for example, the location, because we guarantee also that the producer can deliver the coffee to one point purchase station close to the farms at maximum possible price, taking into account the New York market price plus a premium and the exchange rate of Colombian peso against the dollar. And the most important is always the payment is in cash, because in Colombia, in the farms or in the rural sectors, of course, we don't have too much developing about the electronic payment or credit card or that kind of things. So it's a very important service for the producer. The producer never need to be worried about if I'm going to sell the coffee or not, if I have a buyer for my coffee or not. They are always going to have a buyer for the coffee, and that buyer is going to pay the highest possible price according to the market condition.
That's fantastic. I can't imagine how helpful it is for producers. But I understand for the benefit of the service, producers are required to pay some fee to pool for National Coffee Fund. Can you explain more about this system as well?
Yes, the National Coffee Fund is, as you mentioned, but it's not like annual fee. I will say that it have different incomes. The fund. One of the incomes is the coffee tax that the government have in Colombia, and is one tax for the coffee exportations. So that tax is in this moment 6 cents per pound, and also have other incomes that is all the profits that we do in our commercial business. So I buy coffee and sell coffee, right? In this moment, I'm selling coffee in Japan. As the FNC is not a private company, so all this income that we make in our commercial operation is invested again in the National Coffee Fund to finance all the social programs that we develop in Colombia. So this is how the coffee funds receive incomes from different ways.
Oh, sounds like FNC is almost working as a government. Just thinking that managing a variety of coffee farmers in terms of the size or wealth while treating them equal is kind of overwhelmed. It must be tough, right?
Sometimes, yes, it's very difficult to explain if the FNC is a government institution, is a private, is an NGO, because I think that is a mix. It's a mix. Of course, we are not a public or government organization, but we receive and we administrate or manage some public resources as the coffee tax, for example. But this happens because the government have trust in FNC for many years. That trust relationship, I think that not happening in our country, and this is why we have an advantage to work with the government and administrate the coffee fund to finance all the coffee social project that we have. This is one of the advantage.
I'm sure one of the key components enabling FNC to get successfully organized is its union structure. You have a system that you can accept all different opinions from various farmers, right?
Yeah, it's true. This is not an institution that just few people is taking the decision. No, it's not like that. Because the most important goals that we have as organization is to be a democratic organization, and this is why, as you mentioned, the high decisions normally are taken in in a coffee congress, that all the representative of the producers are in that congress discussing and sharing opinions and at the end taking decisions. As I mentioned, we start to work from the municipalities. That is the more small area, no, like small towns that we have a presence there. So in the municipalities, we have 366 municipal committees in total around the country. The second stage is the department committee. It's like state committees. That the committees, there are 15 of them. Then we have a committee of director, like board of director, and national committee. That is when we discuss all the opinions and the proposal together with the government. So this is why also this is an example how we work together with the government. The government is part of the committee of director, or board of director in this case. And the final institution, like the top stage of decision in FNC, is called the Coffee Growers National Congress. That is where all the national representative of the producers come to decide the direction of the FNC. And this person that joined this congress, it's like election. It's like a national election. They need to be voted. No, in Colombia, if you are a coffee producer, you have an ID. You have a coffee grower ID. So with that coffee grower ID, you have many benefits, and one of them is that you have the right to vote for one of the representatives. Yes, this is a very good example, as you mentioned, and this is why also we consider that the FNC also as a democratic institution.
Very interesting. So speaking about the activity in Japan, and you already mentioned that you were in charge of sales here in Japan, and I suppose you also do like brand marketing as well. Can you explain if you have like more activity in Japan? And also, there are many Asian countries like Australia, Korea, China. But why did you pick,
Right.
Japan, to open a representative office in Asia? So
I can say that we have three different responsibilities. FNC Tokyo office in Asia. One of them, as I mentioned, is the commercialization of coffee, to sell coffee with all the coffee roasters, coffee importers, coffee traders in Japan, in Korea, in China, Australia, New Zealand. I think the second one, I can say that is all the activities related to the promotion and marketing of the Colombian coffee. Not only the coffee that FNC export, is to promote Colombia as an origin country. We go to different coffee exhibitions, coffee expo. We collaborate with roasters or with stores to launch new products, like Colombian coffee products. We also support coffee quality competitions like barista or quality coppers. We support all this kind of activity in all the markets. Some of the customers are also interested to invest money in Colombia. So we are like the bridge, no, in Asia to connect that interest that the customers or consumers have in the market and connect that with the origin. And I can say that the number three is maybe all the activities related to brand protection. Especially in Asia, we have developed many brands. So we need to protect that brands to make all the registration in the Japanese government trademark department, and also collaborate with customers because they want to use that brand. For example, I don't know if you know a brand in Japan that is Emerald Mountain.
Of course, we all know it.
Mountain is a good example. Emerald Mountain is a very old brand, and it's a brand that have a intangible value, no? There are a lot of customers that also want to launch new product with 100% Colombian coffee, and they want to use the logo in the final package. So of course we are like the contact here to get the approval or the authorization to use the logo in the coffee product. So this is I think that is the three activities that I can summarize in of our office in Asia, in Tokyo.
In doing those three activities you just mentioned, why did you pick Japan as kind of hub in Asia to open a representative office? I think just considering the size and potential, China, South Korea, Australia can be more important market for FNC than Japan.
Asia, like as a whole, is very interesting region. 60% of the population of the world live in this Asia Pacific region. So actually, it's a huge region and a huge potential if you see that in terms of population, right? And in terms of growth in coffee consumption, I think that is the number one. And now in this moment, Japan in terms of volume is the just in terms of volume is the biggest market in Asia, and for Colombian coffee is the second important market in the world, just behind US. And this is why, maybe to answer your questions, we have the office in Japan. We start to promote Colombia's origin 50 years ago, 60 years ago, when we start our office in Tokyo. Now that I work here, I can feel and see the results. I think that the consumers know that Colombia is coffee. When Japanese people ask me, "Where are you from?" and I'm from Colombia, they say, coffee, Colombian coffee. I say, yeah. It's like the first thing that the people in Japan and in Asia relate when you say that you are from Colombia is coffee. So this is why, of course, Japan is very important market. In this moment, it's a very mature market. I think that in terms of growth, it's already stable. Maybe not growing too much because it's maybe in the peak of consumption now. But in terms of volume, is the biggest. And in terms of growth, as I mentioned, China, Korea, Malaysia, Philippines, other countries are starting now to drink a lot of coffee year per year. So we have also a very interesting rate of growth in Asia too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like you will be surprised if you asked, the people in our age, like how familiar Emerald Mountain is, in our childhood. It's everywhere, in vending machines. So I think no one, can never drink Emerald Mountain in their life. So we cannot finish the interview without asking you about the situation in Colombian farmers in this pandemic. It's kind of a broad question, but can you tell us the current situation in the Colombian coffee industry during the coronavirus?
Yes, now in Colombia, Of course, the situation is not good at all. The cases, I think that now the situation is improving finally. Unfortunately, Colombia is not like Japan or China or other countries that have a very stable economy. In Colombia, there are a lot of people that need to work every day, that need to get the income every day. So the situation is, I think that is not good. In terms of coffee industry and coffee producers, I think that fortunately the situation is not bad compared with the global situation in Colombia as the economy. I think that we are lucky because with this whole situation worldwide of the COVID, coffee variables, like including the New York market, the exchange rate, have been very favorable for the producers because Colombian peso, for example, has depreciated a lot against the US dollar. But if you see that in terms of income for the producer is good because you are receiving more Colombian pesos per dollar and you are selling the coffee in dollars. So in that way, during this year, we have very good exchange rate in terms of coffee business, no? And also the New York price plus the Colombian premium or Colombian differential and the exchange rate, that combination have made that we can offer very good prices internally in Colombia. In terms of Colombian pesos, is like more than 1 million Colombian pesos per carga. One carga is 125 kilograms of Persian coffee. That is historically, if you see the internal price in all the history, is one of the highest prices in all the history. So this is a very good news because the producers are receiving very good incomes in this moment. That price helps to cover all the cost of productions in the farms, plus receive additional income, no, to invest in the farms and just to receive like additional income to all the coffee producers. That is a good a factor, and the other good factor is the coffee production. The coffee production in Colombia, in terms of volume, have been very stable in the last 4 or 5 years, around 14 million bags. So if you put a very good production in terms of volume and quality, plus a very good price, no, internal price in Colombia, that make a very good scenario for Colombian coffee internally for the producers and the coffee industry in general in Colombia. As I mentioned, FNC have a really good relationship with the government, so we have made a lot of how to say like project, and we are collaborate in order to don't stop the coffee business even in this despite the COVID situation. So with the help of the government, we are guaranteed that the people can move and transport the coffee from the farms to the purchasing station. We are guaranteed that the pickers, the people who pick the coffee in the coffee farms, they can move to from one region to others. Of course, like following all the protocols of safety in this COVID situation, and all these things that we are doing together with the government and with the local offices also are allowing that the coffee industry don't stop. We are exporting coffee every month. The coffee is moving from all the regions every day. We are exporting all the coffee to all the world. So we never stop the operation. And we never stop the operation, and we never stop to buy the coffee. And the good thing is that the producer never stop to receive the incomes for the selling of the coffee. So I think that in a bad general scenario that is happening in Colombia, in that bad scenario, the Colombian coffee industry is doing good actually. So I think that is in somehow is supporting Colombia as a country and the economy. The coffee is like became again like as a very important industry and product in Colombia in this very hard situation.
We are really glad to hear that. But in the long term, you don't just selling your products and earning US dollar and converting it to peso, but you also converting peso to US dollar and buying some products, maybe like some agricultural products or pesticides, like
Right.
anything needed for the next crop. If it's expected to continue, do you think are there any concerns in the Colombian coffee industry?
Yes, it's right because this factor, as I mentioned, the exchange rate, Colombian differential, and New York market, we are in a good scenario in these three variables. But it's not, as you mentioned, it's not going to be forever, right? The exchange rate can change again, and the Colombian peso can gain value again against the dollar in the future. And the New York market can go down again, and the differential for Colombia can go down again. So the concern is always there because before the COVID and before this situation, actually Colombia was facing a problem in terms of internal prices. Actually, before 1-2 years ago, the Colombian prices was in that moment below the estimate cost of production in the farms. So it's one of the biggest concerns that we already have. We have many ways to try to protect the producer of the volatility of the market in this moment. But this specific moment of good prices, we are also suggesting and make the recommendation to the producers to make savings because this situation is not going to be forever. So you are receiving a good income that allow you to cover all the costs of the production of your farm. Maybe you can invest more money in your farms, no, to improve the facilities, to improve the machines, the dryers, all the facilities that you need to have in the farms to produce the coffee. And also, it is important to destinate some of this additional income for savings for the future, because when is there the bad moments in terms of prices arrive or comes again, it's important that you have some money saved to support that. And internally as institution, as I mentioned, we are working in many ways to try to at least have a floor price that at least guarantee to cover the cost of production in all the Colombian coffee farms. At least is the minimum that you need to receive. No, because if you receive less than that, you broke and you need to quit and you need to leave your farm and go. So this is not a solution for us. So
That's a great initiative. This is kind of a question out of my curiosity. I read the article saying the governor of FNC mentions FNC may escape away from C price as a reference because it's not really reflecting what's happening in the producing countries. Do you have any thoughts on that?
yes, we always say that the New York markets is not reflecting 100% of the situation of the countries. No, because the New York market is also, there are other companies making business there, like financial companies, speculators, and everything, and that making that the New York market move in different ways. The New York price is like in general for Arabica coffee. But Arabica coffee is Brazil, is Colombia, is Honduras, is Ethiopia, is many countries, and the situation in many countries is totally different. It's not fair, no? The New York, to make that the New York price is maybe it's a reference, but I think that the customers, roaster and buyers, consumers need also to understand that the situation in all each country is different, and maybe the prices that the market is not enough in some countries. Like for example, in Brazil and Colombia, Brazil has lower cost of production than Colombia, because in Brazil all the harvest and the operation is with machines. We cannot use machines in Colombian farms because Colombian farms are located like 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 meters above the sea level in the mountains, in a totally hill land. So we cannot put machines there. So normally we use like hand labor, no, like hand pickers, and all the process are made by persons, by the producers and the pickers. So this is why the cost of production is higher, I think, than in Colombia comparing with Brazil, and the same in other countries, in other countries in Central America and in Africa as well. So each countries have different situation and cost production structure, and this is important to understand.
Another aspect of challenging the environment to grow coffee is climate change, for sure. How do you see it as a threat?
The climate change is also a concern not a short, but it may be a middle long term. Actually, we see now the effects of that in the coffee regions in Colombia. Now they were producing coffee below 1,000 meter, like 800, 700, 600. Normally, you can produce coffee without problem in that high level. In this moment now, no, you cannot. It's very hot. It's totally different. The weather have changed, and that farms they are not allowed to grow coffee anymore. So more of that farms are now changing to tourist business instead producing coffee. The coffee area with the global warming, I think that can be reduced in the future. So it's a big concern actually. I feel that in Asia and in Japan, that concern about the environment, like animals, like forests, like global warming, all this is not bad, but it's not that strong like it is in Europe, for example.
Mhm.
No, and in US. So I think that we have a big challenge to show to the consumers how important is to take care about the environment to have, like, for example, an stable product. If you want coffee and you want to have coffee for 15 years, we need to take care, no, of global warming, for example. So I think there is a big challenge that we have in Asia.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm surprised to see some figures about how large impact on the coffee growing environment climate change has on. The coffee land has like plummeted by 20% since the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
So are there any measures Fede Cafe taken in Colombia against climate change?
Yeah, we have many programs. For example, we have through all our extension service, technical assistant. We are providing all the information and all the good practice, no, to apply in the farms, to know maybe contamination of the water resources, to use the subproducts of the coffee to recycle and use for other many purposes, like for fertilizer, natural fertilizer, organic fertilizers, to use the pergamino, that is the dry layer that you remove of the coffee when you mill the coffee. You use that to produce fire and to produce heat to dry the coffee at the farms. Those kind of things, I think that coffee producers are applying in the farms, but I think that is not only a responsibility of a coffee producer; it's a responsibility of all the coffee chain. No, starting from the farms, starting also continue from the exporters, for the customers, the roasters, and even the consumers as well. The consumers, it's very good if the consumers, they see what kind of product they are drinking, and they see this product is healthy or is well for the environment, have some certification or not. This kind of question is also important to have in mind when you are drinking some coffee, I think.
So looking beyond the future, So it's a medium term and long term. What is the mission? Maybe it's a too broad question, so it's better to ask you like, what's your mission? Working in FNC.
I think that the big mission is to achieve how to say, like a co responsibility in all the coffee chain. Now we say the responsibility to make a coffee business a sustainable business in all the ways, no, from the origin to the market to the consumer. Is responsibility of all of the members of the coffee chain, no, starting from producers and ending on consumers. Because as a consumer or as a roaster, if you want to have a stable, a good quality coffee for many years more in the future, you need also to think about what is happening in origin. And in origin, you need to know what is happening in the market, because you need to understand how the people consume the coffee, what are their concerns. So I think that one of the big like mission or goals is to have like a co-responsibility in all the coffee chains, that all the consumers know about the coffee and how to make coffee a sustainable business. The roaster know how to make coffee sustainable business, importers, exporters, producers, and work all together, no, as a only one group to maintain the coffee sustainable business. I think that no people imagine to say like we don't have any more coffee to offer. You don't have any more coffee to drink in your house. I think that is
Terrible.
is you cannot conceive that. So and the producer cannot conceive to change business to other crop. In Colombia, the coffee is a cultural thing. It's a business that the father of your father starts, and it's a family, like a generation by generation. And coffee producer in Colombia, even in the hard moments where they are receiving very low prices, they're still there, because they cannot imagine no change their life, that it's a cultural thing. So I think that all of us need and we want to maintain this coffee business as a sustainable industry and sustainable business for everyone. So I think that this is the mission that we have in a long term, and we want to achieve that.
Mm-hmm. So just wrap it up. Can you add some like last comments, kind of like as the message to Japanese listeners?
No, the last comment is just to thanks. Thanks to all of you. Japan, as I mentioned, is one of the biggest coffee market, and in terms of coffee consumption, with the consumption of the coffee, you cannot imagine all the support that you are giving to the lifestyle of the coffee producer. Not only in Colombia, I think I can talk for many other countries that also depend on a coffee. Sometimes I see that the market is getting more competitive, like competition, and the price competition is pushing prices low, and the economy, maybe with this situation, I think that the income for the people also is going to be difficult, and I think that the consumer is also looking for better prices in coffee, or buy the cheaper one. I think that this is all the economic situation, or the worldwide situation that we are facing now. Maybe I just invite the listeners, when you try the next coffee, when you have the coffee in your hand, maybe you start to make some question that you never do when you drink coffee. Maybe you start to question, oh, this coffee is a single origin coffee, or is a blend coffee. If it's a blend coffee, what kind of blend it is, what origins have, like Colombia, Brazil, and start to make questions. These coffees have some sustainable certification or not? This coffee is roasted by who? Like I just want to invite the consumers and the listener to make that kind of questions, because way of think, I think that help also a lot to understand how is the coffee business, what is the impact of the coffee business in many countries.
A good challenge to the listeners. And even Min and Tatsumi should do it, tomorrow. Such an amazing comment. Thank you very much. And we are very looking forward to meeting you in person in the near future, definitely. And also, we'll enjoy Colombian coffee you bringing from Cis du Cap all the way to Japan.
Thank you, and you come with us. Hopefully, if the situation improve, we can have more opportunities to share more information for sure. And again, thank you for this opportunity too.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you for listening. This is Coffee Radio. See you next week.